So we are here in sunny Epsom today and we are fitting an air source heat pump. So for those of you that don't know what that is, an air source heat pump and a ground source heat pump is a renewable energy source which will generate heating and hot water in properties. Over the last 2 or 3 years, it's become a big thing in the industry that we're in, which is plumbing, heating, electrics. And 3 years ago, I went to college, studied ground source and air source heat pumps, became a surveyor, and ultimately learned a new trade to add on to all the other trades that we do, both myself and the business. This one is an interesting one because we're kind of picking up from someone else. This project's been going on for a while, and for whatever reason, the guys who sort of first fixed the plumbing didn't end up second fixing and commissioning, so we've come in, taken over.
Is it hard to take over from somebody else?
Yes and no, right? The thing is, to be fair to them, before the workmanship was pretty good, so that's always good. I came and surveyed this first anyway, so I kind of knew it was good. Plus, anyway, the client, good people, I've worked with them for a long time. They've built this place, which is lovely.
What, from the ground up?
From the ground up, yeah. There's been a lot of tree issues, I think, around here from my knowledge, but the good people, I've done joint ventures with them, so friends of mine for a long time. So going back to the air source heat pump scenario, Dan's been here for 5 days maybe. Will's joined him, I think this is day 3, and another chap, Matt, came in and plumbed in a cylinder. One of the cylinders, I don't know if you've seen it on video, but it's like the cupboard super tight. I actually think the underfloor heating manifold is back to front, but it's been fitted back to front, not by us, but by the previous people because of the space. We made it work anyway. But it's a super tight cupboard, but we got it in there, and everything's pretty much finished. So it's one of them ones that just got to now make it work and last, you know, for the long term.
And these heat pumps, are they a viable option for an older house?
No, I mean, listen, heat pumps are a thing that unfortunately have been forced upon the industry, right? Whether it's for energy efficiency or the environment or anything else, there's still a big problem with them. So this is obviously a new build, that's okay. The heat loss in here has been calculated, the insulation and everything else has been obviously done correctly by the book, had building control in, been signed off, etc, etc, etc. You put an air source heat pump in a 1930s house, for me it's not feasible. Windows need to be done. You basically need to get a duvet and put it over the house because there's just heat going everywhere. The heat pumps, they run at a much lower temperature than what a traditional gas or electrical boiler do. So with electrics or the gas, you can just pump up the kilowatt rating and make sure that it's basically got more than it needs, and then you can, you know, down rate it or whatnot. So renewables is a thing now that I think a lot of people are actually insulating their houses and stuff. I know as a business we've done lots of loft installation recently, whereas maybe 5 years ago people didn't really do it. I mean, you look at electric vehicles, right? A lot of people are against them. Now some people like them, some people like the hybrid.
I suppose with new technology there's always drawbacks to begin with, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, the electric vehicles, I'm not a fan of them. I actually think that we've got to be a little bit careful going to electric because the grid isn't that big, and everyone keep getting all these electrical vehicles and electric this and electric that. There's not that much ampage going into a house to actually be able to. You've got to size it correctly.
So what's the solution to that?
Well, actually, this is weird that we're talking about this, right? But this morning, so today is the 27th of March, right? And I don't listen to the news really because I find it quite negative or depressing. But this one thing came up which I was quite interested in. I think the clocks go back this weekend by 1 hour. But in Parliament, they're talking about them going forward by 2 hours, yeah? And the last time it happened was the war.
Why are they saying doing that?
To conserve energy. Yeah, so going back to this whole thing about, I'm not a conspiracy person, but I understand the electrical grid.
To make the most of daylight, basically.
Yeah, or the fact that at the minute our power, you know, unless they increase this grid quickly, I don't want to say there'd be blackouts, right, but like definitely maybe restriction times or incentives to not use your electrics at certain, I don't know. But I just think that's really weird that they said that it's going to spring forward. No doubt someone's going to say that's not the case, but that's how I've taken it, right? But yeah, I mean, listen, the heat pump and solar and everything else, we're in a position as a business that luckily, or not luckily, we built ourselves in a scenario that we have plumbers, we have electricians, we have builders, we have roofers, we have all the team players to go and play, not play the game, but, you know, participate in what it is going on in this industry. And again, I do think it's a bit of a mixed martial art. There's a few different trades or skills you need to know to be able to walk in and fit heat pumps. It's not something that anyone can just go and do, because you can't just go in there with a load of energy and start throwing pipes and cables in. It has to be planned correctly, and you do need to stick to the plan, because when then MCS or whoever come round to check it out, or the manufacturers and, you know, the homeowner or anything, it has to be bang on.
And has this been planned by somebody else or you guys?
This has been scoped out by Valent, but again, I sent them all the information. But again, we were talking about that earlier on, like technical help. Technical help's amazing.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, I'm good. I have a brand spanking new heat pump that has a fault code that your manufacturer's technical line have said we need to get an engineer out on.
So you mentioned heat pumps, like as a plural, like you've got ground source and air source.
An air source, yeah.
What is this one?
So this is an air source. I am fitting some ground source soon, actually. I've got 4 of them to fit. With ground source, there's 2 ways you do it, really. If you've got land, you can go there and back, right? If you don't, and there's lakes and other things you can do, but if you don't, you bore down. So you have to go down in the ground. So like some places in, say, Chelsea and stuff have gone for it, because they, fortunately or unfortunately, have money. They're the people that have gone, okay, you know, we'll pay for a borehole, which is going to cost thousands.
But I don't understand how it works, because the air source, let's say it's the middle of winter, how do they use air to create heat?
Well, that is a question for another day, and I feel like I'm going to be sitting around a table when that's happening, and to show how technically good I am, or I'm not, yeah, I'm going to put my glasses on.
After getting off the phone to Valent, they've then cleared up that the diverter valve that we've got is just going into UV1 on the interface.
Yeah.
The cylinder stat is going into SP1.
Yeah.
Got to make sure the connections are tight, because it can break a signal.
We'll ferrule that.
And the underfloor heating one, which was really throwing us out,
Yeah.
is going into the EVU via the fault-free connection.
Yeah, on the heat enabled. So that will give the signal, and then that will sort it out. It's
So
amazing what a phone call can do.
One little phone call, 5 minutes later, and our heads being scrambled yesterday is now just cleared.
Yeah, so that's what happens when you have a designer writing the book for you.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, easy peasy. So so we'll get that done. We've got the, we've just got to get the sensors in, but I've got the sensor running, so that can all just come out go through the same way.
Yep.
And then, how is the cylinder stat is just two core?
Just 2 core.
Yeah, that's fine.
And low voltage as well, which surprised me also, but...
Yeah, that's why, because the signal's because with 230 it doesn't matter, it just pushes itself through.
Yeah.
These are 12 volt systems, or 24, as soon as they drop below 18 they go
Yeah, as long as we've got good connections on them, mate, we are good.
Yeah, we'll put some hardcore connections on them. And then that's that. So I've got to go into a cupboard now and figure out how to do what we did in the double cupboard.
Let's sort
into
that one out.
a tiny wee little space.
Have fun with that, mate, and I'm going to finish this pipe work outside.
Yeah, no worries.
All sorted electrical wires
all
now.
Done. There we go, we have a plan, we know where we're going.
Perfect.
All right then. Right, I'm going to go and get into my hole.
Have fun.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Right, mate.
Alright. I'm currently trying to get the underfloor heating controls into the manifold, and as well as that, get another unit in here and a control unit, all in this wee tiny space. So it's a bit of a headache. It's unlike the other one over there, which is a massive cupboard where everything's spaced out, which has its own issues. This one's like the opposite. Everything's so compact, it's difficult to get everything to fit and not make it look rubbish, and make it maintainable as well. So, which is always a thing you have to think about, because if there's an issue, I will be the one coming back.
Do you need sort of one of these units per air pump?
Yeah, so this one runs this manifold here, which diverts it to each of the rooms, and then on top of that, the air source heat pumps are quite a new, like a fancy piece of kit. It basically has like an AI system in it, so it can sense things, as long as you put the sensors everywhere, but obviously that requires a lot more work to put in. So we've got other units that need to go in. So it's just trying to squeeze them all in. You know, in an ideal world, we'd have a massive cupboard and you could just run everything in and have it look pretty. But yeah, we've got to get this unit in here, which is a control unit. So that can go in there at the top, and then there's another unit. So this effectively is the brains of the operation, the ecotherm. So that's what has to go in here as well, and that has to be accessible, and it all interlinks with everything else. So yeah, this is the meat of the operation. But I have other concerns as well that I have to take into account, that this has to be powered, and the immersion has to go in here, and I have to run actual power from in here to the heat exchanger outside. So it's going to get very busy very quickly.
I see.
Yeah. So it's just trying to have a plan to start with, and then see where it rolls from there. Because no plan survives contact with an installation. Always a bit interesting, but I actually like this part of being here. So that's why they put me on all the heating jobs.
Lagging.
Yeah, that's a problem. There's a delay on that for some reason, but there's places I can probably look to get it. So leave that with me. I'll have an update on that by the end of today.
What is that? I want to say it's a helicopter. Do you know what? Talking about this, yeah, Sarah yesterday showed my son a helicopter app we now have at the farm to see when the helicopters are going over you or whatever.
So you can tell what the helicopter it is and where it's going.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you can do it for planes. So my father-in-law's got one, so like it can literally scan it up into the sky and it'll tell you exactly what plane's flying over.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we got distracted there.
But yeah, so
There's some weird sounds actually here anyway. There's a hen that keeps doing cock-a-doodle or something. So you'll hear that in a minute.
That'd be a cockerel.
I'm cute.
Told ya. I told ya.
So I just wait for the beast of a dog that comes out next.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Going forward then, so lagging on the outside
Yeah,
doesn't really matter
that's
that
a
much.
minor because we're not
obviously
in Arctic weather.
Yeah. So to get this commissioned and commissioned and up and running, we aim for today, but obviously I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it'll probably be lunchtime tomorrow now because we've got to get anti-freeze valves and inline strainers. Merely on the principle, got to do it properly.
Yeah. And going from earlier on, there was a problem which you rang up technical help and
Yeah,
found a
it's
solution.
just not necessarily a problem. It was just saying that was just scrambling our heads as to where certain things were going into wiring centres. But a 5-minute phone call to Valent Technical and resolved the issue very quickly. So we kind of knew where we needed to be, but wanted the second opinion and confirmation as to going in the right direction. So,
And sometimes I find the book is written in the wrong way, and then the context probably
the
doesn't
thing
sometimes
is
get taken the correct way.
the books are written by design engineers.
Probably by AI now.
Yeah, but they're not written by working engineers, is how I look at it.
Yeah. It's overcomplicating things. So what was it that you rang technical and they translated to you?
Well, no, we just needed to know, because obviously we're fitting the air source heat pumps with underfloor heating. All the underfloor heating's directed into an underfloor heating wiring centre. So then it's just working out how we're getting that into the user interface so the customer can use it without confusion. So Valent literally turned around on the underfloor heating. There's a volt-free contact, which you wire into the volt-free contact
Dog.
on the user interface. So pretty straightforward, but it's better that we're all good engineers, but you always need that second opinion because you don't want to damage stuff that costs hundreds of pounds to repair.
Going back 20 years ago now, me and you learnt our skills from technical helplines.
Yeah, that's the only way you get better. People nowadays, engineers are scared to ring them because they're embarrassed half the time.
It's good to ask for help, man. I always found that you ring up the technical helpline, you treat them with respect, they normally then try and help you.
But that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
They ain't there for anything else. They're there to give you the best advice on how to do it properly.
I always say in front of customers anyways, like if for instance, if I want to diagnose a part, it's always better off to get another opinion or another, not another pair of eyes because they're not there, but it's always better to say, okay, well this is what's going on, this is the voltage I got there, and then they're going to say, yeah, you know, it's going to be, let's say the fan, the gas valve, the PCB or whatever it is. So technical help's obviously always a good thing to ask for. Any professional help is a good thing to ask for if you need it, you know what I mean? How have you found it as your first heat pump?
Quite technical, to be fair. It is a lot of thoughts has to go into it. You can't just rush in get it done and walk away. It's not that easy.
It's all on the design, isn't it?
I mean, the big telltale is when it comes to commissioning tomorrow, because already the Valent bloke was like, you're going to have to give us a call tomorrow when you come to commission it, because we have to change the settings to activate the underfloor heating.
And we haven't done the underfloor heating here, so let's
that's the thing.
that there
Just
isn't any
crossed, that's all
further
good.
problems up the road with any of the previous plumbers that were here.
Yeah, hopefully. But we will only find out tomorrow.
It's going to have all these cables. Basically, it's going to be a big nest of cables, a big web of them coming all over the place here. So, yeah, this should be interesting. And then I need to get this armoured cable into the fuse board, but they conveniently cut it short, which is wonderful. I need about that much. So, yeah, not great, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But once again, it's finding out where to put it, because it's so busy in here. It's quite something. I've just got to figure out how to keep it out of the way, basically.
Just cutting back the flow and returns to each of the flats at the moment, so we can connect onto the supplies to both heating air source heat pumps. Just waiting for delivery of some inline strainers and some isolation valves. So then we can then get these fully set up, and then fingers crossed, all going well, commission tomorrow. So earlier on we fitted individual isolations for both units so that they can just be shut off externally. But we will probably look at putting like a lockbox over them or something, just so they can't be turned off by any random person. It's just good to have external controls so they can be isolated, worked on safely outside rather than keep going in and out, in and out. They can just individually be tested. You could lock them off out, turn them off internally, but there's nothing stopping a customer going, oh, that switch is off, whilst you're working on electrics outside. So that's better just to have more than one safety feature. It makes life easier in the long run. But I mean, we've also put outside sensors for both units as well, so that also helps with freezing. So if temperatures drop really low, naturally the units are going to automatically kick in to prevent pipework freezing. It's all new to me, to be fair, because the first two are fitted, so it's all good practice.
This is the future though, right?
It's the way the company's going with us ourselves, but yeah, like you say, it's the future, it's where we're heading. They're trying to phase out gas. This is the next step, so it's good.
So what are the benefits to this as opposed to gas?
But they're meant to be a lot more cost effective. They're meant to save you money in the long run. How true it is, only time will tell in correspondence to it, so. But yeah, that's where we're at so far. So they do specify you've got to have 3 people to lift these.
Oh, wow.
They're that heavy. So that's just an indication as to.
And obviously you've got to then get it onto the wall. So is that a 4th person to fit it, or 2 people
Well,
to
that's the
hold
thing, is luckily we've got a solid base that they can sit down on the floor, and we've got the space to put them. Whereas in certain areas and certain locations, you're going to end up having to mount them on the walls. So as you can imagine, you've then got to have some severe support to hold these up.
Oh, I see. So these aren't going to be mounted to the wall.
No, they're not going to be mounted to the wall. They're literally sat on special feet that come with them. So they're just going to sit there, because obviously at the bottom you've got a condensate connection which has to drain away. So internally they still create condensation, and they have got like a specific heat mat internally to prevent that freezing up. So obviously that's then got to drain away as well. So
how have you found it as an experience?
it's been good, because I can get bored of something very quickly. And I found this has just took my mindset to a whole new level, because there's so many more components involved. Yes, it's probably still exactly the same as just fitting a boiler, but in my head, I can do that with my eyes shut nowadays. Whereas this, there's a lot more thought that's got to go into it, a lot more design that's got to go into it. So you can't just walk in and go, yeah, we're just bang, bang, bang. It don't work like that. You've got to literally design where you're putting certain components to accommodate proper operation of it. Everything's had to be cross-referenced with the books, ringing technical advice, making sure we're putting the pipe work in the right locations to accommodate certain components to aid with full operation of the air source heat pump.
And budget-wise, have you managed to kind of keep it in the you know?
I think we've done really well, but obviously because we've come onto a job that's already been half started with all the pipe work's already been done, we've obviously done
Extras.
all the extra bits. So we've put the cylinder in, so we've had to run the pipe work to and from the air source heat pumps. So Ryan's managed to keep within budget, within reason. There are certain add-ons that we've had to accommodate for, like there was no pumps for the underfloor heating, there was no blending valves, no controls. So that's all got to be equated for still. So, but we're where we need to be. We've just sat in the van and just gone through the costs so far, and we're pretty much bang on where we need to be. So we're in good stead so far.
Good. So you're happy with the process?
I'm happy. I'm really pleased with how it's going. Tomorrow's going to be the defining day, because that's the moment of, as bad as it sounds, the moment of truth. It then just pushes our knowledge to go, have we done everything exactly how it should be without any hiccups?
So how's your first heat pump installation going?
Confusing, stressful, but we're getting there.
What's confusing about it?
Reading all of the different books. They're all the information's in different books. So it's just trying to jump from one to the other, and it hasn't been written very concisely.
When you think Valum, yeah, I think it's the oldest boiler manufacturer. I'm pretty sure of that, because when I went to their factory in Germany, I'm pretty sure they started the geyser, which is a water heater. But I think it's spelled G-E-Y-S-E-R, not like the geyser like what we are.
Yeah.
We're G-E-E-Z-E-R, geezers, yeah. Anyways, as a business though, we can walk straight into this renewables.
Well, yeah, you've got a little foot in now.
Renewables to me is like mixed martial arts.
In what way?
Electrics is electrics, plumbing's plumbing, gas is gas, yeah? The renewables have all aspects of that.
Yeah, it's a multi-discipline, isn't it?
MMT, mixed martial trades. Written by Martians.
Or Germans.
Same thing. I like Germany actually.
What about solar? You want to get into that?
That's why I got my van, man. 3-4 years ago when I'd done all the training for it. I knew it was coming, but things in life got in my way. If you can finish it, if you'll be ready for commission at 9, that'd be good.
Bollocks.
What are you now doing? Repiping it?
Repiping it?
Oh, you didn't pipe it when you moved it. You just moved off the legs. So you're piping it up. When are you finishing the wiring today?
Wiring's done in there. We're all wired there.
Well,
Just got.
in there were first fixed, because I didn't know which
Yeah.
cable went where.
So I'll go in to that one now and carry
So
on
we'll
with
come
the
back.
wiring in there.
We'll come back tomorrow afternoon at midday. So tomorrow is another day. I'm hoping tomorrow will be time for commissioning, and hopefully the weather's as nice as this is now. Today I want to spend a bit more time here, but I can't because I've got a job I've got to go and survey. We've done a load of electrical work there. We have an unvented cylinder going in, similar to what's in here, and the chap just completed on it yesterday. So I've been in talks with him back and forth about his plumbing, but he now has decided he wants an estimate for a kitchen and a bathroom, and his time frame is pretty slim. He wants it done sort of next week, literally, providing the price is correct. So I'm going to go there now to price it and to talk to him about his plumbing, his electrics, his bathroom, and then the kitchen. I'd say maybe the bathroom might be a job for next week, and then the kitchen maybe 2 weeks' time. Boys, I'm off, all right? Have a good afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, yeah? Let me know if you need anything. See, the Wombles of Wimbledon pick up litter, mate. Litter I probably left, actually.